Mentor Legion, or is it just mentors? Whichever it is, they must have really fresh breath. But I love this cover scheme. One of the rare pieces of lore is this image showing Chapter Master Nisk Ran-Thawll. So let's take him across the Rubicon Primaris, starting with a Zenithal Prime. Welcome to 5 Minute Marine. Vallejo Air Dark Green goes nicely over the Prime, but it takes a few thin coats to even out. Vallejo Air Wolf Grey, on the other hand, covers the white of the armour nicely. Pure white looks rather stark beside the green, so the blue hint of this paint makes them sit better together. I pick out the pistol holster and the main body of the scabbard in my new favourite paint, Black Legion Contrast. The filigree and bling gets painted gold, with the rest of the metal getting a light silver. Next, Blood Angel's Red Contrast paint goes over the wax on the purity seals, and Skeleton Horde goes over the parchment and also the hair. I experimented with panel lining a few details off camera, and we'll come back to that later. Guilliman Flesh Contrast goes over the face, along with all the gold details. Talisar Blue goes over the plasma coils and the lower half of the blade, feathered out towards the end. I come back in with black to base coat the tactical rock. You cannot win a battle without a tactical rock. At this point, I go around the model and tidy up the paint, especially on the armour. I chose Cyberite Green for the armour highlight. I normally hate edge highlighting, but there was something satisfying here. The details started to pop immediately. I usually prefer dry brushing and only going in to edge highlight the major details, but recently I have broken through some mental barrier. I still struggle with shoulder trim though. Maybe it's because they are curved surfaces posing as straight lines. Or maybe it's just the old shaky hands finding their limit. Normally I do a lot of back and forth cleaning everything up. It takes a while, but I get there in the end. I penciled on the outline for the chapter symbol on his left pauldron. Then I filled it in with Wazdaka Red. It's not the best looking result, but it's okay. Next time I'll just 3D print a shoulder pad if there's no transfers. Eyes are white and black, tidying around them with pale flesh. I paint Vallejo Dead white into the recesses on the pistol coils, and some lightning streaks emanating from the power nodes on the blade. It may look quite messy now, but this is one of those techniques where one just has to trust the process. I'm using my trusty old Artificer extra small brush from Citadel here. It is the lord of all brushes, and has been my companion on many adventures. Then Guilliman Blue glaze over the white on the weapons. I paint the base top brown because I felt like it, and another coat of Guilliman Blue glaze when the first is dry. For the white armour, I highlight with Vallejo Dead white. I have to be careful here because the brightness of the highlight means the lines have to be very thin and very controlled to look decent. I come back to the panel lining with Administratum Grey and gently work it into the recesses. It comes out nicely, although I think I can improve on it. The parchment gets cleaned up with Pallid Witch Flesh, leaving the Skeleton Horde shading in its recesses. I grab a blue horror and dry brush it over the glowing parts of the weapons. This gives a nice subtle highlight over that glaze, and a basic OSL type glow around the pistol coils. Time to improve the panel lining. I do a selective coat of Vallejo gloss varnish over the armour, filigree and weapons, but leave the cloth, face and parchment out. I only want to be using the panel liner on the armour, and if the other details were gloss coated, then it may run over them. I use Tamiya dark brown panel liner to add into the recesses where the Basilicanum grey is. It gives it a warmer tone than the grey alone. The matte areas act as a sort of barrier for the enamel as I apply it. The wash stays put against them and there's very little cleanup needed. With the panel liner now dry, I grab Lamium Medium, which works well as a matte coat, and put it over the armour, skin and cloth, whilst I leave the metallic areas with their gloss coat. In leaving the weapons with their gloss coat, it gives a filter to the effects, blurring them slightly and countering any chalkiness from the dry brushing. I grabbed Vallejo raw sienna pigment powder and worked it onto the model around the lower legs and to a similar height from the bottom of the cape. This will tie him in nicely with the ground cover I'm about to base him with. Geek Gaming Scenics basing glue goes over the base, followed by a good dunk into a bag of Geek Gaming's base ready Tundra mix. Any gaps in the basing mix will be hidden by the brown paint I applied earlier. I seal it down, and that's it done. Before we take a look at the finished model, can I ask you to like, share and subscribe to help the channel, and I'll catch you next time on Bleeding Tree Gaming.